Someone cannot become a holy man or become a low moral person at the same time. Hello good people, welcome back to my channel. This is the second video from the video series about why do we believe Muhammad is a messenger of God. In this video we will discuss about the position of Prophet Muhammad from Islamic view and from Western view. In this video I will enter into the substance of the discussion of the video series about why do we believe Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Like I said before, our belief in Muhammad's prophethood is an accumulation of various aspects motivated by many aspects that make us believe that he is the messenger of Allah. So it's not just certain aspect but a lot of aspect. Like I said in the previous video that I want to make a book to explain with detail, holistic and comprehensive explanation about why do we believe Muhammad is a messenger of Allah. So how the position of the Prophet Muhammad in Islam? So we believe that Muhammad is the last messenger that God sent to humankind. So Muslim believe that Muhammad is the prophet and the last messenger who sent by Allah to spread the last message from God. So for us, he is the salvation to both in the world and in this hereafter. Muslim love him and salute him. In Islam, there's a salutation prayers that it calls salawat. So like we see in this page, the explanation about salawat is salawat also referred to as a divine blessing on Muhammad, is an Islamic complementary Arabic phrase which contain the salutation upon Muhammad. This phrase is usually expressed by Muslim as part of their 5-time daily prayer, usually during the tashahud, and also when Muhammad names is mentioned. So we have a variation in salawat here like Allahumma sholli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad, and also there's Allahumma sholli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad and others salawat. And we can see the translation of salawat such O God, send blessing upon Muhammad and the progeny of Muhammad, and O God, send blessing upon Muhammad and upon the progeny of Muhammad. So in Muslim prayer or salah, there is a compulsory recitation, namely Surah Al-Fatihah. Surah Al-Fatihah is main part of Al-Quran. So in this surah consists of the request of supplication to Allah in order that He may lead to us to the straight path. Here I show you a video clips when Imam recites Surat Al-Fatihah while salah.
Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
You know, the straight path is a normal supplication for those who believe in God. I think if you are someone who believe in God, but you are now in searching for the right religion, maybe you will be asked for God, oh God, show me where is the right path, what religion is true, what should I do, am I in the right way right now? And I think that's supplication is will be come out for someone who really searching for the true God. So this is the video about someone who looking for guidance. Maybe she looking for a religion that can bring peace to her.
One thing that I always consistently prayed for, though, was guidance. I prayed that God would guide me no matter what I was doing, no matter the bad things I was doing, the good things I was doing. Just as long as I was praying for guidance.
And I think guidance for someone who lost or someone who don't know, it will be become a priceless treasure. Therefore, for us Muslim, Muhammad SAW is his guide who gives us guidance that is blessing to Allah. So there is no more appreciation we can give but reciting salawat upon him. So that's why we really love him deeply in our heart. So that is the position of Prophet Muhammad in Islam. So how about others' view on Muhammad? So I just read it from my book, but not for other people who do not know him and his life at all, especially for people who are only flooded with news from Western media about even in the Islamic world that are connected with his teaching that cause negative view about Muhammad SAW and Islam, so that in their understanding Muhammad SAW is just a person who claimed to be a prophet, and Islam is as synonymous with violence, poverty, backwardness, and others.
We viewed every Muslim as being evil, backwards, mad, insane, that Islam wasn't the religion for today, that it did nothing but repress women and minorities. I went so far as to say very negative things about Islam in a lot of my work as a journalist.
The bad news reported by the media is a heritage of a bad relation between Islamic world and Western world in the prior ages. William Montgomery was an Orientalist, once said that there is no historical figure who has the most slender except Muhammad SAW. Karen Armstrong, in her book Muhammad SAW the Prophet, gives a description of how European society view Muhammad SAW, especially around the 9th or 10th century AD. Muhammad SAW is also described as a maniac who was covered in various abuses. Even until the 12th century AD, Muhammad SAW was still depicted as a monster named Muhammad and was used by a mother to frighten their children. Some have called Muhammad SAW a demon named Mohon, who was later made the main character in his novel entitled Satanic Verses. Unfortunately, starting in the millennium century, there was an incident that strengthened such perception, like 911 accident in the United States of America, in which ultimately has popped up the Islamophobia action on Muslims, occurring not only merely in the US but even all over the world. Although 20 years has passed since the incident, and the author still feel that an Islamophobia has decreased due to the role of the internet world, which has explained appropriately regarding Islam and Prophet Muhammad SAW. An attitude of tolerance was also shown by the demonstrator in the protesting Muslim praying when Black Lives Matter protests occurred in Brooklyn. However, we still admit that Islamophobia still exists, such as the attack of the mosque in the Christchurch city in New Zealand. Even when this book was published, there was a burning action of Al-Quran in Sweden and Norway, and tearing of Al-Quran by some YouTuber. The author feels that a big matter of Islamophobia occurred due to the ignorance of non-Muslims regarding the teaching and the journey of dakwah conducted by Muhammad SAW. This negative prejudice occurred due to the new races pertaining Muhammad SAW in merely on everything assumed to be negative. So they conclude that Muhammad SAW is only a man who admit himself as a prophet with motive for satisfying his lust. This belief is absolutely different from our belief as Muslims who treat him as messenger of Allah and a role model in daily life. The author invites readers to realize that they should not quickly judge without knowing the entire facts. As like a wise word said, don't judge a book from its cover, or as like the jury of Academy Awards or the movie critic, they did not rate the film from one movie frame or from its trailer only, but they watched the entire part of the movie, since if just rating from one frame only or from its trailer, centrally there will be a misrating on the movie. The same thing occurred to Muhammad SAW. Such accusations are based on certain frame in his life, such he has many wives, so they made prejudice that he has a high sexual desire, and also a war frame since the part of his dakwah journey was full of war. Thus, he is prejudiced as a man who likes to war. Therefore, the author invites the reader to view his dakwah journey entirely, since his dakwah journey is similar to a movie that is not easily experienced, but full of hurdle and obstacle. So that's I read it from my book. So I remember when I saw the trailer of Far From Home movie. When I saw this frame, I thought that Mysterio is a good guy who will help Spider-Man against the bad guy. But when I watched the movie, it turned out that Mysterio was the bad guy. Well, I didn't read the comic though. So after we see these two views, I think we have a paradox here, because one view see him as a nobleman, such a holy man that become someone to follow or become a role model. But the other view see him as someone who have a very low moral person. So I think, someone cannot become a holy man or become a low moral person at the same time, because if someone do the good thing and then do the bad thing, I think this person become someone bad person, and I think he's not someone that considered a holy person. So I want to show you the following video snippet from Yakin Institute channel.
One of the great scholars of Islam, Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah, Allah bestow mercy on him, he said it is actually a no-brainer when evaluating prophethood to simply look at his character. Because a person who claims to be a prophet of God, as he argues, is one of two people. Either one of the most righteous people ever, the greatest integrity, the greatest virtue, or he's actually one of the most corrupt people ever, manipulative, opportunistic, exploitative. He's saying, and since that is the case, a prophet can only be one of the two, a true prophet this way, an imposter, false prophet that way. There is no room for confusion once you know who this prophet is and how they lived their life and what their personality and character reflected, whether they were actually a prophet or not. You need not look beyond that, he says.
Okay, good people, I think this is the end of the video. I hope you can understand what I'm saying in this video. So I invite you to keep following this video series, and let's make the world a better and more tolerant place. Okay, goodbye. Hello good people, if you want to support my channel, you can buy my book on Amazon, the podcast link I put below, or you can like, subscribe and share my channel. Please help me to get 1000 subscribers. Thank you.